Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Decryption and I hope you are well. In the last Hitman Escort AI video we did, we made the AI successfully escort you out if you're trespassing in an area. If you walk away from them, we've made them say, hey, where have you gone? But then that's all we did. So today we're going to carry on with it. We're going to make them look around if you are missing and then try to find you, otherwise return to their area. And we're going to work on building up the aggro, so if you repeatedly keep coming back, they will remember. So let's get started. So currently what we have set up is if we walk down and we enter this trespassed area, he's going to warn us because he can see us.
This is a restricted area. Please follow me back out.
He'll then start to walk to escort us out of the area. And this all works. It works exactly how it should do. He walks over there and then we get out. If we run far away,
where did you go?
He says, hey, where did you go? He needs to remember where we were and then try to look for us, otherwise give up. So what I'm going to do, because we know he walks down here, I'm just going to take this wall and treat it almost as in a corridor, if you wish. Like it's got another wall in it. So that means when he is following us, we can hide behind here, and he will try to look for us at the last known location he knows where we are. But we are going to have to play a bit of mind trickery with it, just to make it work. And what I mean by that is, as he's walking away from us, he's not looking at us anymore. He doesn't know if we're there. Of course, we could go into the real depths of realism, have him look around, check on us, have him hear us and all that stuff, but that's way too complicated for a basic AI, and I really don't think that's what Hitman went and did. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, when he's escorting us out, he just mysteriously knows our location at that point. So even if we're behind him, 500 units away, he will know our precise location. Call it, he's just got a sense for it, like a sixth sense if you wish. He knows we're there, he can hear the footsteps, he can take the clues, right? And then when we get over 1,000 distance away, we'll make him stop and say, hey, where have you gone? And at that point, we'll make him turn around and walk to the last known location he knew we were. So that means if he's here and we run behind that wall, he will successfully walk around this wall. Because you could say he's walking around this corner, he knows we're with him. As we walk around here, we've disappeared. Hey, where have you gone? And then we come back and he can't see us. Then he knows he probably would go down this corridor. So that's what we're going to do. And I've done the big wall just because then if he does turn around here, he can't see us, essentially. I could probably even shrink it a bit. So let's work on that one first then. So in our state tree, we already have most of this set up. So where we've got the find and escort to outside point, we've got our distance checker here. And this pushes it to the player is lost, ask where they are. Hey, where are you kind of thing. So we need a way to track their last known location. And to be fair, as soon as we move from the escorting point to this one, that's the only time we need to know the location of it. So we don't actually have anything ticking currently that's going to constantly look for the player. We have the perception, but that only fires if they see them. And because we need to get this location when they can't see them, I think the best place we can put this is actually inside our tracking player here. Because inside this task, we set it up to check the distance and then go from there, right? When this is running, we actively have access to the player's location. When this stops running, we don't need access to it anymore. So it's actually a perfect place to do it. But this is going to be one of the key things that you're only going to be able to do if you're using the newer Unreal 5.4 onwards. You can't do this in the state trees before. We need to pass a variable from this task, store it somewhere, and then use it later on. So we're going to use the parameters. Before parameters were actually usable, we created variables on the NPC and stored it there, but now parameters are available, we can actually use them directly. So I'm going to create a new parameter in here, so it's only available inside this state tree, and I'm going to set it to a type of vector. I'm going to triple click it and call it player's last known location. And by default, we can leave this as 0, we don't need to touch it. But then back in our state tree for tracking the player from the NPC, there's no point us setting this whilst we're ticking, because we only really need it during the event. So I'm going to drag this off and say, if we're about to say we've left the NPC, we can use a new node, get property reference, and we'll promote the property ref to a variable, and we'll call it player's last known location prop, and we'll set it as a type of input so we can pass it into it. And then to set it, let's hit compile, highlight this variable and set its type to be a vector in the defaults. It's a bit strange you have to do it that way, but that's the way it is. And then from the reference, we can drag off and we can call the set by ref var. We specifically want that one. And we can connect it to the succeeded, connect it to the set state tree send event. And the value, we can just simply put in the player's last location, which is their current one. So it's a one-time set. From failed, it means it basically can't set it for some reason. So we're just going to tell it to finish the task anyway. And we'll hit compile. And you'll see it'll compile, hit save. Back on the state tree, you'll see in your task for tracking the player, you now have the player's last known location property, where we need to pass it in. Open it up, parameters, and we have the player's last known location like so. So now we're using the parameter to store data within the state tree that's only accessible to the state tree. Nice and lightweight. Now that we've got this, when we've played the lost dialogue saying, hey, where are you? We can add a sibling state to it, where we can say, go to last known location. We'll add the task of move to, and the destination we're going to is going to be our parameter's last known location. The acceptable radius, we'll put like 50 again. We'll make sure the lost dialogue has a transition that once it's finished, it goes to the next state, which is the last known location. Now, here's the key thing. At this point, he's lost the player. He doesn't know where they are. They're too far away. So we actually need to check on this node whilst we're walking if the player becomes visible again. Because then that's when we can play the found you, don't try that again, follow me, and we continue on. So we actually have most of the transitions set up on the play idle for if the player is seen. So the transition target seen is exactly what we want, because that's only ever going to be called when the perception sees the player again. So I'm just going to come and copy this transition back to our last known location. I'll add a random one, and I can click the little arrow and paste over the top of it. So don't forget, transitions only work when you're in that specific node. So when we're on play idle, if it sees the player, it will run it on there. Any other node, it won't. But now it will also run it on this node here, which is perfect. So if they see the player, what do we want them to do? Well, we can add another sibling state of player refound. And then inside here, we'll add a child state of found player dialogue. We'll just add our normal dialogue into it. So we'll just click plus, add our dialogue or whatever you're using. I'll use my trespass guard. And the ID of the node is the found you one, like so. Once this one is finished, we want to transition them back up to finding and escorting the player. We don't want to go to the warning because we've already done the warning. So I'm going to transition them back up the state tree, which is a really cool aspect of why I like state trees, back up to find and escort. So it'll essentially try and do this all again, which is exactly what we need. However, back on the go to last known location, if the guard can't find the player because, they've disappeared, they're just not there, but they've arrived at the last known location, we can move them to a different state of just looking around, and we can get an animation that makes them look around, just so if you're trying to run behind them or hiding around a table, they'll see you or try to see you. So what I'll do is add another sibling state to the player lost one, look for player, and make sure it's part of that one, otherwise it's not going to work, but we want it under it, like so. There we go, so it's just at the bottom of it. I just had to collapse that node to drag it around. From the last known location, if it gets there and it can't find the player, we'll jump them to look for player. And then inside this one, we'll add a child state. This one will just be look around for player. I don't know if I have an animation for looking around. Oh, I generally do, actually. I'm shocked. There we go, so we have this animation play. I'll take that montage. I think it's from a pack that I released. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description. I gave some of them for free away. Others, I think they were paid for like the more advanced ones, I think. Yeah. I'll turn that into a montage. So I'll right click create anim montage. And we'll use this one. Back on the look around for player, I'll add a task. I believe there's a built-in one for playing montages. Nope, there is not one for playing animations. I'm shocked. Okay, never mind. We'll just create another task, which is fine because all these tasks we're creating are super generic and reusable. So we want this blueprint-based state tree task, STT, play montage. Inside here, we'll simply enter state, We'll set a variable for actor, BPNPC, make sure it's type of context, so it automatically sorts itself out. Instance editable, drag the actor in, drag off, get their mesh because we want their body mesh to do this. And then from the mesh, you can do play montage. You specifically want the mesh to do it because the mesh can tell us when it's completed. Whereas if you do it from the actor and do play montage, you'll only have this play anim montage where you can't tell when it's finished. So this one's nice, a nice one to use because when it's completed, we can just call finish task. And we'll also put that in on interrupted as well, just in case. And then the montage to play, I'll just promote to a variable. To make it slightly more efficient, what I'm actually going to do is just drag this off, delete the montage to play. We're going to click it and change it to a soft object reference. And then we won't be able to plug it in, but we can async load it, so it's not in memory all the time. It's only in memory when we need it to be. So we can async load that in. From under the montages to play, we can call resolve, and we can plug that into the montage instead. Just makes it a lot more efficient. Class settings, give it a name, play montage, hit compile and save. Back on our state tree, and on the look around for player, we can use our brand new play montage task, where we pass in the look around montage, where we'll assign it to it as a soft object reference, so it doesn't matter, and only after they've looked for the player. From here, if they just generally can't find the player, then we'll transition them back up to guard return to post. See how it's now becoming a lot more reusable, that we're just bouncing them around to the correct states because we built such a good framework to do it. However, when they're looking around, we actually need them to look for the player, so we can actually come and grab the transitions that we've already added to the go to last known location. So as they're walking around looking for the player, if they can't find them, we'll copy that event, go back to look around for player, add a transition in where they'll say if they see the player, we go back to player has been seen, hey, go back to your post. Hey, you need to be out of here, for example. So let's try this out now. So this time, if we run up to the NPC, he should tell us, hey, blah, 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 leave the area. You can see he's now walking, that's all correct. If we walk, say, here, and when we quickly dive around the corner, I can't actually see if he's following us down. This was a messed up this one. You can see he's walking though, and as he comes round to look for us, oh, he stopped. He's looking there. Look, he's looking around for us. He's scratching his face, and he's given up and he's going back. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've evaded him. He told us to leave, and then he went back. But let's test it the other way to actually make sure it works. He needs to re-find us. What I am going to do is shrink this wall down a little bit. I'm going to see if we've got a translucent one or an invisible material. Yeah, okay. I'm just using that really bad material for now, just an invisible one, just so we can see through it. He still won't be able to see us, hopefully, but we'll be able to see what he's doing. So I'm going to walk just round this corner. He knows where we are, and you can see he's going to walk back over to this way, and then he will see us.
Hey, this is a restricted area. Please
Ooh,
follow me back
okay.
out.
So that's interesting. He went a different way. Did we put the wrong dialogue on? He's doing everything normally.
Hey, where did you go?
And you'll see he'll still come back to this area. We'll need to double check why the dialogue's playing the wrong one. We'll just make sure he plays the look around and then make sure he sees us. Okay, so we need to stop the animation playing as well, but we are indeed getting there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's double check the dialogue. When we went to the found you dialogue, this one here, NPC 5, let's have a look. That is correct. Ah, no, it's not. I see the issue. It's not the dialogue. On the go to last known location node, where we've got the event to actually look for the player as he's walking around, on the event here, we've put it as player has been seen. We don't need that because we've already seen the player at this point. We specifically need it to go to player refound, where it says, hey, there you are, and then it goes back to it. We'll also have to do the same for when the player's looking around. And on the event here, we want it to refound the player. Hit compile and save. Let's try it again this time. So as we run up, you can see the guard.
Hey, this is a restricted area. Please follow me back out.
He's going to try to follow us. We'll evade.
Hey, where did you go?
He can't see us. He'll walk to our last known location.
Found you. Don't try that again. Follow me.
There we go. How cool is that? Let's do it one more time. So we'll wait for him. Oh no, he's going to find my last known location here, isn't he? Ah, darn. Never mind.
Found you. Don't try that again.
I got caught by
Follow
my
me.
own AI. Okay, we'll let him walk away for a little bit. And then we want him to roughly go over
Hey,
here.
where
There
did
we
you
go.
go?
So we'll let him go over that. I want him to do the look around, and then we want him to see us on the look around to make sure that's working. There we go. So he's looking around. There you go. And now he's going to walk away. But we need to fix the montage. But there we go. We can now evade him, or try to,
Hey, where did you go?
and he'll come and look for us. We could even make him patrol around the area. You can do all sorts you want to, really. So he stood around the corner, all Hitman style. We stood here stealthily.
Found
We
you.
come out,
Don't
and he
try
got
that
us.
again.
How
Follow
cool is
me.
that, ladies and gentlemen? That is really, really cool. So let's stop his animation from running then, because we shouldn't be having that continue on. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. On the play montage, we could go to on end state. We could just tell it to stop the montage. That's one way we can do it. To make this really generic, let's add a boolean, however. I'll add a bool called stop montage on end state. Set it to a boolean, drag it in, convert it to a branch, and we'll only do it if that's true. I'll say by default it should be true. I'll also make it instance editable so we can set it, but if it isn't true, then we won't do it. We can drag off the actor and we could do get anim instance for the mesh, and this will get us the current animation that's playing essentially. And from here we can drag off and we can call montage stop. It does want us to provide the montage that we are stopping, but we already have that up here. Technically it should be loaded in memory at this point, but just to be safe, we'll make it reload it again. So we'll drag off, make it async, load the animation in, and then we'll tell it to specifically stop that montage. You can even blend it out if you want to, which might be nice actually, make it look a bit more professional. So I'll tidy my nodes up and then blend out. I'll just say 0.5 and we'll see what that looks like. You don't need to call finish task or anything because this is already running at the end of the task anyway. So now if this task finishes, it should tell it to stop the montage. So let's give that a try this time. So we'll run up and get discovered. There we go. So he's going to walk down. We'll run around this corner in a minute when he gets about 1,000 away.
Hey, where did
There
you
we
go?
go. Let's let him walk over here. You can really increase the distance. We've set it to 1,000 just to try and make sense. He's playing the animation.
Don't try that again. Follow me.
But he's not stopping. Okay. So for some strange reason, it looks like the async load asset on an exit state isn't running. I guess it kind of makes sense if it's on the end of it. But okay, what we'll do instead, we'll get rid of that part. We'll keep the montage stop, but instead of just async loading the montage in, we'll just drag off and do get active montage and we'll plug that in instead. Technically, the above was a little bit safer because it only stops that specific montage, but this one should work fine. The only issue you might get is if for some reason they are playing another montage, it will stop that one instead, but we can cater for that if we really need to later. So let's try it again now and see if he stops the montage. So he's walking back over. He should do the look around animation shortly if he doesn't see us. So he's doing the look at animation. We'll get seen.
Don't try that again. Follow
We
me.
blended out, and now he's walking back. There we go. How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? So the next step we're going to work on now is actually making him get more and more aggressive because we keep coming back. We're ignoring the rules, right? You don't have to do this part if you're just happy with the escort AI because it's pretty much there. You can see he's now walking off. We could improve that now. Don't come back. But we'll get to it eventually. So let's make him more aggro then. So he's seen us once. He's going to remember that. He's going to see us a couple more times. Then he's going to just have enough. He's like, right, this guy's causing trouble. Let's take him out. So back on our state tree, I'm going to add another parameter. And we'll set it to a type of integer. I'll triple click it. And we'll set it to times player told. And we're going to keep it at 0 by default, right? And we're going to increment that each time, and then that can change where we go to based on the condition of it we can add to it. Now, if you are making a game where your security are actually decent security AI, right? And they talk to each other. Hey, we've just told a guy in a weird elf knight's uniform. We've just told him to go. Just remember it, right? This won't work for you because this is only going to track it on this individual state tree. If you have a team of AI all communicating together, you're going to need some type of master controller for all of those. So you'll have your security guy, he'll have an AI controller, but you're going to need something where he can tell everybody else. it'll be inefficient for every single one of them to remember who they've seen and tell everybody else to also update it. So the better option is to have another controller on top of them, like a group controller. In that case, store the integer on the group controller, or if you really need to, store it on each individual one. For me, I don't mind if there's a guard there, and a guard there. I can get seen by all three of them twice and none of them get aggro. I'm okay with that. Because if you think, like in Hitman's sense, you walk up, you go to an area like, hey, the restricted area, you can't be here. Alright, sorry, I'll walk away. They don't really phone it in, typically. If you were guarding, say, a king, maybe. But in this case, yeah, that's all I'm going to do. Just to push your little guard, hey, get out of here. That's it. So, I've created my parameter up here for times player was told. Now, every time the player's told, we need to increase this. So, the first time is when we warn the dialogue here. We give the player a warning. But here's the key thing now. The logic, no matter how many times they've told you, is going to remain the same except on the last chance, say the third or fourth, however many you want. So what I'm actually going to do is modify this warning dialogue, instead of being a task, to have multiple subtasks with conditions on. So what I mean by that, on this warning dialogue, I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to drag it inside itself. The first one will be warning 1 dialogue, and that will just be the same, play this dialogue, go to this location, fine. I'll duplicate it again, and I'll call it warning 2 dialogue. And now this is where we put the secondary one on. So on here, where was it? I haven't actually got one for the second one. Oh no, maybe it is that one, yeah, that one. So I'll copy my, hey, I've already told you this is it. So I can come and paste this onto here as the dialogue I'm going to play. So that's the secondary one he's now going to play. I'll duplicate it one more time, and we'll say, warning 3 dialogue, go aggro. And on this dialogue, it will be the, hey, get him, he's been told multiple times. And I'll come and set this on that one. But instead of transitioning to another one now, we want to go to the aggro. So we need to set the tag of aggro to say, hey, you're aggressive now. In my game, I don't have aggressive AI set up, so you just have to imagine that one. So now, what we can do is on the top warning dialogue, I'm just going to come and delete the task off. We don't want it to do anything. That is just a container for all the other warning dialogue, right? And on each one, we're going to come and add a condition of integer compare. And we're going to say if the left-hand one, which is going to be our parameter, number of times player has been told, is equal to 0, we'll do the first warning dialogue. I'll copy this. We'll go to the second one. We'll add the condition in, add anything, paste over the top of it, and we'll say equals to 1. So they can tell you twice. And on the third one, we're going to add the same thing, but we're going to say it's more than 2. So this gives us the ability to also say that you get caught, they tell you 3 times, they turn aggressive, you hide, they go back to being normal, but if you see them again, because it's greater than, they'll immediately go for you. So it's almost like they remember for the entirety of the game that they've already told you. If you don't want that, of course, you can set it to 3, you can reset it, you can do whatever you like. Now, the key thing is, all of these are going to go to find an escort to the outside point. However, this one doesn't need to do that. This one we need to set the tag on. So we can actually use some of our other functions, really, on this one. Instead of transitioning to find an outside point, we can just outright take it back up to root. That's all that one really needs to do. But we can add additional tasks for it to play, and then we just need to find a way to apply this tag. So we just need a way to apply this ability to the actor. So super simple, let's create a generic task to handle this. So I'll create a new state tree task. If you're using tags or anything else, just apply that tag to them. So state tree blueprint base, STT, apply effect to target. I'll open this one up, enter state. We want the actor in the context. We'll drag this in. For me, I'm going to do get ability system component, and I will do apply effect to target. The target I'm applying to is technically myself, so I will actually do apply effect to self. There we go. The effect class I can promote to a variable. For efficiency, even though effects are really small, but it's better to do it efficiently, let's convert this effect to a soft class reference. Change the type, that's fine. We'll drag this down. We'll async load this in. Because we're on enter state, we know that works. I'll resolve it, and then we can plug this into the effect class here. You can promote the levels and stuff if you want to, if you're using that. I'm not yet using that, so that's fine. And after that, we can just call finish task. Make sure we add a blueprint display name. So we want apply effect to self because it's technically self, not target. I am going to come and rename it to make it make more sense. There we go. Make sure that the gameplay effect class is instance editable and set in no category. And then back on the state tree task, on this go aggro one, we're playing the dialogue, we're going to wait for it to finish. We'll also apply effect to self, and the effect we want is aggro. And hit compile and save. And then the only thing we've got to do now is actually increase the warning. We just need to apply it on each one of these with warn, warn, warn. So I'm going to create another task. So I'll just duplicate one of these, stt underscore increase int param. So all I'm going to call it, something super generic. I'll delete most of this off, and then just like we did before, I don't even need the actor in this one. I can drag off and do get property reference, promote it to a variable, property int. I'll hit compile, make sure I set it to a type of integer, make sure it's instance editable, and set it to a type of input. I'll drag off the reference and do set by ref, connect it to the succeeded, and the value we want to increase it by is going to be the reference where we'll drag off. I'll do plus, connect that across to the value, and promote this bottom one to a variable increase. And we'll set it to a instance editable, and after this we can just call finish task successfully, and on the failed we'll do finish task failed. This increase int param technically isn't accurate. It's going to be better renamed to update int parameter, because we can of course put negative numbers in to increase or decrease it. So I'll give it a display name, update int param. There we go. And we'll hit compile and save. Back on our state tree. On each of these now, we can come and add a task, which will be our update int parameter. The parameter we want to pass in is going to be our times player told. We want to increase it by 1. I will come in and just set the default increase to 1, because most of the time you're never going to increase it by 0, are you? So that's that one done there. We can copy that back to the second warning dialog. We can add another one, paste it in, and on the third one, technically we don't need to add one to that one. So we can hit compile and save, but of course you can if you really want to. So let's try it this time. So this time, if we walk up to him, he should play the first warning, do everything he needs. Whether he escorts us out properly or we evade him, the second time he should give us another warning, and then try to do everything by normal. But the final time, he will get aggressive. One minor thing before we go and test it, just make sure that you've not got any transition on your warning dialog parent. You only want it on the children. And now the last key thing you need to watch out for, something that I've just spent a considerable amount of my time trying to figure out, make sure that you set your tasks correctly. And what I mean by is on these warning dialogues where we've got the tasks, we now have 2 tasks, right? So we need to instantly mark off and say only all of these have got to play before it moves on. And we've got to do that for all of them. Otherwise it's just going to immediately bypass everything and not work correctly. So on here, it should play all of these tasks, including the integer and the play dialogue, or you can just mark it as that one if you really want to. And on completed, then it goes to find the player. Do the same for those 2 as well. And the final thing you need to do on your warning 3, instead of greater than, make sure it's greater to or equal to, because we're never actually going to get to number 2 and we don't want it to skip it. So if we try it this time, we can run up. He will give us the first warning. Hey, this is a restricted area. Please follow me back out. And now he's going to escort us out. There we go. He'll walk us out, and you can see he's now walked all the way back. Let's change that back to 1. So he's escorted us out once. If we run up again, he should give us the second warning this time.
Hey, I already told you this is a restricted area. Follow me.
There we go. He's already told us, which is good. We can let him go back, or we can just hide away.
Hey,
trying to escape. So there you go. He's going to come and look around for us. So he's looking around. He's doing whatever he needs to do. And then he'll eventually give up and start walking back. There we go. And now this third time he should become aggressive and he'll run straight towards us. So you can see.
Hey,
Get him! I've told him multiple times. He's now aggro and he's going to walk straight towards us and do combat. Although I don't have combat set up, so he's just forever going to walk towards us. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There is a very rough Hitman escort sequence. Now, we're still going to crack on and do a little bit more work to it, because we can really make it much better. There are a few bugs we need to fix. So one of the bugs is, when he's walking back to his area, he's not actually checking if he sees us again. We've essentially got an infinite loop at that point, and we don't want that. So, I'm going to come and copy the target scene node, and when he's returning to his post here, he's going to move to the post and set himself to idle. But we don't want him to only do that. So I'm going to add another transition to this one, where he's specifically moving, and I'm going to paste over where they've refound the player. And now you can kind of decide where you want this one to go, because I think it'll work in both ways. You can send it down the normal route, where it goes the player has been seen, comes up to the warning, tells the player what to do. Or you can send it back to the player's being refound. Technically, I think if he's walking back to his post, he's called the action done, essentially. So we really should go down the official channels and saying, hey, he's just found us again whilst we were walking. So I'm actually going to move it to the player has been seen instead. So I'll move it down to there. And now when he's walking back to his post, he should officially be able to see us and deal with it. I also think I'm going to add the same player refound transition. I'm going to add it to the lost dialogue as well. Because if the guy is in some monolithic, dialogue about, hey, where have you gone? I was just here. I swear it wasn't the wind. We want him to actually see the player and just overwrite it. So I'm going to say, whilst he's speaking, or if he's walking to the last known location, it can spot the player. Now, some of you might be asking, why don't I just add it to the parent here? Because there are some nodes where we don't want to do that. Such as the one here where we're playing the dialogue saying, hey, I found you, don't do that again. We don't want to spot the player again, we've already found them. So let's test it this time. So now we've added some more perception to him. So we've still got to run up and get close. We'll fix that one soon. So he's now walking down here, and before, if we lost him, he won't see us at all.
Hey, where did you go? Found you. Don't try that again.
So that one works okay. So that's working well now. If I walk over here, and he's looking around idly, which is what we want him to do, when he's starting to walk back to his post, we're going to make ourselves visible and see if he clicks onto it. Any minute now. There we go.
Hey, I already told you this is a restricted area. There we go. Follow me.
So now, we pretty much can't get around this guard unless we sneak around.
Where did you go?
That's another issue we've got to solve there as well. If we're running towards the exit, he doesn't really need to care. We're going the right direction. But that one's going to be a bit tricky to solve, depending on how complicated your maze is and everything. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There is the third part to the Hitman AI. We now have a security guard that will generally watch us and try to escort us out, or he'll look around for us. In the next episode, we're going to fix the issues where we have to get really close to him, even though he's looking directly at us, and some of the other issues we've got too, but we are definitely coming to an end now. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this was helpful. If you've got any other suggestions, please let me know. My name is Decryption, and I will see you next time.